I think the fact that we are at the end of summer, but everyone's minds are on January, really. How are you going to cope if you only just make ends meet, or you don't now? I think everyone will be getting into debt just to pay their energy bills.
Mary Broddle has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a rare inherited condition that affects your tissue and muscles. She struggles to walk and suffers with extreme fatigue.
I had to leave my career about 3 years ago, 20 years in engineering. It just became impossible. Now I spend 90% of my time in my house, and so a cold house is quite worrying.
Mary is now setting up an online embroidery business to help combat the rising bills.
Our bills have already doubled, and if they're going to double again, what's that going to be? £700-800 a month? It's very expensive to be disabled. I think it's scary, if you have a level of disability where you need electrical equipment going for whatever reason, whether it's through ventilators or some sort of feeding tubes or something, that must be terrifying. I have to use a mobility scooter. I'm going to have to look into what that costs to charge up, something I've never really considered before.
6 million people will be entitled to this £150 one-off payment to help with the cost of living crisis. Now, the payment is to help with the higher cost of mobility and care needs. And the £150 is on top of the £650 that disabled people on the lowest incomes are also entitled to. The £150 payments are expected to be paid from the end of this month, but Mary doesn't think they'll go far enough.
It's going to go nowhere. It's not even going to cover the rise in the bills that we've had already. Maybe 1 month of my extra bill cost in the last 6 months? It won't cover 1 month's rise from October. It may pay for some thermal leggings and a pair of slippers, but that's it.
The Minister for Disabled People, Health and Work, Chloe Smith, told GB News that we know disabled people can face additional costs, which is why we're acting to help reduce the financial pressures on the most vulnerable. This payment comes alongside wider support targeted at disabled people, including help with transport and prescription costs. We know it's a worrying time for some people, and I'd urge them to check they're getting all the support on offer by searching Help for Households. Mary and her family are already preparing for the cold winter months ahead.
We've cut back on everything, even Amazon Prime's going. And as a disabled person, that delivery service has been pretty important to me because I can't nip to the shop easily. We've sold the second car. We don't need 2 cars really, so that's gone to cut back. So we've just looked at everything, but I think it'll be several layers of blankets, buying thermals to layer up with. Now's the time to buy when they're in the sales and they're discounted before you're trying to get hold of them in December.
So what's Mary's message for the inbound Prime Minister next week?
I think there needs to be more targeted support to disabled households. And in general, the country can't do nothing or do only what it's done so far. There has to be intervention. I think the disabled community is very forgotten about, and we're just going to be hidden in our homes. We're just sort of going to suffer even more.
Ellie Costello, GB News.